Today we are going to begin our study of social studies in Chapter 1, and the title of the chapter is Uncovering the Past. Social studies is similar to science in the fact that you will have a quiz to go along with the lesson instead of a directed reading. You will find this quiz 1.1 for Chapter 1, Lesson 1 in your Social Studies EN. So we have a big idea. The big idea of Lesson 1 is historians use many kinds of clues to understand how people lived in the past. And there are three main ideas. History is the study of the past. We can improve our understanding of people's actions and beliefs through the study of history. And historians use clues from various sources to learn about the past. So our main idea 1, history is the study of the past. We kind of already know that. But historians are the people who study the past to get an understanding of how people lived, their thoughts, their beliefs, so basically their culture. This could also be their customs and their values. Archaeology is the study of the past based on what people left behind. So archaeologists, the people who study archaeology, explore places where people once lived, worked, or fought. And the things that the people leave in these places can range anywhere from stone tools all the way up to modern-day computers. These objects can then be examined to learn about the past, and they're clues to how those people lived. So here's an example of study in the past, and you probably recognize that this is in Egypt, and this will be one of the things that we will study this year. So history can do different things. It can teach you about yourself, and you're probably trying to figure that one out, but I promise you it can. It can teach you about other peoples and different cultures, and it can provide you with a better understanding of where you live. So here's the knowing yourself. Without a personal identity or a personal history, you don't have an identity. So a lot of people like to study their ancestry, like where they came from. So history is just as important for groups of people as it is for individuals. It teaches us about the experiences we've been through and also about the different values that we share. It can help us know others. So history shows how cultures are both similar and how they're different. And a lot of times if you look back, you can find more similarities than you can differences. You can understand better why people think the way they do by studying history. And then this knowledge promotes tolerance, and it can help build social harmony, which I believe we need more of in the world right now. History also explains how today's events are shaped by past events. It helps us develop mental skills, such as asking questions, which ties in with our science. And it promotes good decision-making skills. Here's an example of understanding the world. These buildings are in San Francisco, and you're thinking, well, why would buildings that look like this be in San Francisco? It's because this is a neighborhood called Chinatown. When Chinese immigrants began settling in the 1800s, this is where they settled, and they just made it their home away from home. There are different things that historians use to study the past. Some of those would be fossils and artifacts. A fossil is a part or an imprint of something that was once alive. So for it to be a fossil, it had to be once living. And just like in science, you'll go back and you'll watch the videos later. Artifacts are objects created and used by humans. So fossils had to be once alive. Artifacts are creations of human. Writing is another important source of information when you're studying the past. So here are some clues from the past. This would be an archaeologist, and she is examining pottery that someone left behind. And we will talk more about this and all the civilizations that we're going to deal with this year. There are two very important things that you need to know about sources of information, and you've probably talked about them in your ELA classes. One is a primary source, the other is a secondary source. Primary source, that is an account of an event that is created by someone who was actually there. They took part in the event or they witnessed the event. A secondary source is simply information that's gathered by someone who did not take part in or witness the event. So they've done research with that. So a primary source would be your best source of information. As historians review and reanalyze the information, just like in science where things can change, historians can change their interpretations of what happened in the past as well. So a lot of the history narrative that we had today or have today can be changed based on new things that are found. We will pick up our study of Chapter 1 next time in Lesson 2 with studying geography.